Welcome back to Football is Scripted. Today it's just me. Bradley is busy at the moment, and this is very last minute. In fact, it will be about 2 hours before it's uploaded. There is no scripted moment. I can't think of anything. There was no Premier League in a couple of days. It was Champions League. And what I wanted to talk about first was Bayer Leverkusen, because I cannot tell you how insanely impressed I am by Bayer Leverkusen. In fact, I'm actually thinking, right, it's the greatest, it's the most impressive season I have ever seen. And I tried thinking of some teams that came close to it, and I cannot think of any. I'm going to bring the chair down. Oh, so I'm closer to the mic. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to think of a team that's close. But I cannot. The one that I thought of was Bayern Munich in 2020. They were really good. They were so impressive. Them. Also, we played them, Tottenham, and we lost 7-2. And Gnabry scored 4 goals. And apart from that, like, I get Man City also won the treble last year, but I was not as impressed with Man City as I was with Bayer Leverkusen. I think teams were a lot weaker last year when Man City won the treble. This is a strong year of football. You know, there's a lot of good teams in the world at the moment, and Bayer Leverkusen are by far and away the best, which is so impressive when you consider, I've got some things written down here, that they've only won the league once, and that's this season. They've never ever won the league before. This is their first time, and they're currently undefeated. They've also won the DFB Pokal once versus Hertha Berlin in the 92-93 season. So this isn't really a hugely gifted club or successful club, really. And they also have one UEFA Cup, which they won in 1988. So yeah, this to go from that to this season, this would be like, I'm trying to think. This would be the same as, I was going to say Tottenham, but not even Tottenham. Even Tottenham have won more than Bayer Leverkusen. You know, Tottenham have won 8 FA Cups. Bayer Leverkusen have won 1 DFB Pokal, which is the FA Cup equivalent in Germany. So I'm trying to think of a team that has never won the FA Cup maybe once. Maybe Wigan. No, it's not Wigan. I would say 1 UEFA Cup. Won the league once. Maybe a Blackburn or something, or someone of that realm. It would be like Blackburn back in the day going undefeated, which is insane. I've actually got a graphic. This will be the only graphic I have, because this is supposed to be very casual. Just to represent how insanely successful this season has been. Right, I'm going to show it on the screen now. That is every result they've had this season. So you can see from the left, top left is the first result they had. And then the rows, it goes to right, is the most recent. And obviously the draw is their previous result versus West Ham. But look at that. That, to me, that is the whole season for Bayer Leverkusen. The first game of the season and their most previous, and every game in between. And that is insane. Look how much green there is. I cannot think of a team that has had a more successful, more impressive season than that. The win percentage is 88%. I mean, oh my God, that is ridiculous. 88%. 88%. Has anyone ever achieved 88%? Now, people might say, well, Bayern ain't that good this year. Bullshit, because Bayern are very good. Bayern are a very good team. I know maybe it's not perfect at Bayern Munich, but I'm pretty sure after their loss to Bayer Leverkusen, 3-1 loss, that, or was it 3-0? I think it was 3-0 actually, that they just got very derailed and ultimately losing the plot and going off a cliff. And I think that's what happened with Bayern, and that's why there's so many points behind. Let's not forget that game at the time, there was only a couple of points in it. It was a huge game. And as soon as Bayer Leverkusen beat Bayern, Bayern just seemed to drift off. And I think if Bayer Leverkusen weren't in the league, Bayern would be around about the same, maybe about 5-6 points off, around about there, maybe 7-8. This is a really, really strong Bayern side. And you read the names in there, they've just signed Harry Kane this season. Their front three is Coman, Kane, Sane. That's very strong. Their midfield is strong. Their defence is strong. The goalkeeper is strong. It's a very good Bayern side. Also, this Bayern team just knocked out Arsenal, who are the third best or second best team in England. I would say second. You could make an argument for first, but I would say second. And Bayern were clearly the better side. So this Bayer Leverkusen team isn't against bad opposition. It's against an amazing team in Bayern Munich. And they have blown them out the park completely. Another thing is, you think about it. So they've won the Bundesliga versus Bayern Munich, which obviously is very impressive because Bayern Munich have won 11 titles in a row. So there's been a pure dominance by Bayern Munich. They're also now in the Europa League semi-final after beating West Ham. And do you know what was insane about that? Is in the first leg, Bayer Leverkusen had 33 shots to 1. I mean, overall, I think in total the shots were 10 to West Ham and 47 to Bayer Leverkusen on aggregate across the two legs. Insane, like genuinely insane. They're also in the DFB Pokal, so they're on for the treble, and they're on for the unbeaten treble. Now, if they lose their next game, it all does kind of go out the window, the whole most impressive thing ever. Because you have teams like Man City who have won an actual treble, right? And teams like Barcelona and teams like Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich have done it twice. And Manchester United. So it no longer really becomes the most impressive thing ever. But at this moment in time, it is. It really, really is. Look at the results. Did you see how much green was on there? They're on for a treble. I couldn't not talk about this because I felt like I had to talk about it whilst it's happening. I was very young when the Leicester season happened, and I actually didn't watch the first half of that season, which is a big regret. So now I want to indulge in this incredible story of Bayer Leverkusen, because it really is. This is a league win, a season people will be talking about forever. I also cannot talk about Bayer Leverkusen without talking about the style. Just the fullbacks, what they have done, I've never seen that. We've obviously seen Trent and Andy Robertson at Liverpool, who were incredible, right? I actually think Trent, when Liverpool won the league, I think Trent was their best player. Like, genuinely. He was insane that year. But Frimpong and Grimaldo especially, right? Grimaldo has 9 goals, 12 assists in the Bundesliga this season. He also has 2 in the Europa League. But 9 goals. 9 goals. Often people say, if you can get a striker with 10 goals a season, right? This fullback, this left wing back, has 9 goals. And on top of that, 12 assists. Frimpong as well, he has 8 goals. So the fullbacks combined have 20 goals for Bayer Leverkusen this season. And he also has 7 assists as well, Frimpong. So you combine them together, right? They've got 20 goals each, and they have 19 assists each. Like, amazing. Florian Wirtz as well. What a player. Will he be at Bayer Leverkusen for long? It doesn't matter, because we're talking about this season, right? What he's done in the last 10 games has been sensational. 9 goals, 1 assist in his last 10 games for Bayer Leverkusen. That's not even counting the amazing goal he scored versus Germany. And Grimaldo, for me, is actually, I think he would be my 4th favourite for the Ballon d'Or right now, for a fullback. I mean, it just shows how insane this season is for Bayer Leverkusen, right? Just so impressive. And yeah, I just feel I had to talk about it, being, present with Bayer Leverkusen, just being undefeated, being incredible. I just can't quite believe what I'm watching. Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about, just quickly, Jamie Carragher the other day on CBS. Now, I think Jamie Carragher is a fantastic pundit. I don't like him when he's commentating Liverpool, really. I can find him way too involved in the game. Often, insults players, and I don't know how I feel about that from a commentator. Your job as a commentator isn't to insult players. It's not to have really an opinion. You're commentating on the game. And I think he leans into his emotional ties with Liverpool way too much when commentating on Liverpool. But apart from that, I think he's a very good pundit. I've seen some very good analysis from him on Newcastle this season, Tottenham, everyone. Man United, the one with Ten Hag, with the space in the middle of the pitch. So I think he's really good. But last night, he said something that I don't really agree with at all. And it was the fact that he said Real Madrid aren't a better team than Man City. I don't know about that one. I mean, Real Madrid have beaten Man City 2 out of 3 times in the Champions League. And the one that I really don't agree with is that he said Arsenal were better than Bayern, or a better team than Bayern. Now, I don't know how you can watch... If that isn't Premier League bias, I don't know what is. How can you watch those 2 legs where Bayern Munich were clearly the superior team and come away with the fact that you think Arsenal are better? They're just not. I mean, I think that's a Pep syndrome, because maybe did Arsenal even have more possession or chances? Don't think so. I cannot remember at home. The home game, all I can remember is Leroy Sané playing really well, the Bayern goals, Kane having really good hold at play. I can remember Kimmich getting on the ball quite often. I can't really remember too much about Arsenal apart from the Jesus goal, which was a brilliant goal. And away from home, again, I just felt quite dominant from Bayern. You could really see that they were the dominant side. They were superior to Arsenal. I really feel like just because Arsenal are in the Premier League, he's just said that Arsenal are the better team. I mean, mate, if they would have just beaten them across 2 legs. They had the chance. And they didn't really do much, especially in the second leg. I mean, Bayern was so good in the second leg. And even the players are better, right? Like, Saka's amazing. But I feel like Sane has a higher ceiling. Did you see him in the first leg? Harry Kane. Bayern Munich have Harry Kane. Arsenal don't have a player of that level. Declan Rice is good. Is he better than Kimmich? I don't know. Is he better than Goretzka? I don't know. I thought Goretzka was amazing during these 2 legs. Even the defenders, I get, okay, probably you would lean towards Arsenal with that. I think Eric Dyer was amazing, but that's not a consistent thing you'll see. Being a Spurs fan, I know. But there's other areas of that pitch where Bayern Munich excel versus Arsenal. I mean, Alphonso Davies is clearly better than Zinchenko. And I just think it was actually disrespectful to Bayern Munich to just say that Arsenal were the better team, even though Bayern went through, and the only reason they went through was mentality. That just isn't true. They beat them because they're the better team. Accept it. The Premier League is a very good league. It's the best league in the world. And Arsenal are one hell of a team, but they're not better than the elite of the elites. So I think Arsenal are being overrated a little bit. Anyway, FA Cup replays scrapped. Now, as a top 6 fan, it's not something that I'm going to lose sleep over, right? It's not something I really care about, to be honest. I just like watching the football games. I have to turn this up a little bit. I like watching football and talking about football. I'm not really into the whole politic side of things, right? The whole replay stuff. But Bradley, I spoke to him this morning, made a good point, which was, that the teams won't be able to get that return leg that is really good for them. So, for example, Tottenham, a few years ago, played Newport County. We played them away from home. Now, obviously, for a Newport County point of view, that's amazing. You get to see one of the better teams in the league, a top 6 team, come to your stadium. That is amazing. But then the return leg, they also get to go to Wembley, right? They get to go to that team's stadium. We were at Wembley at the time, so that's why I said Wembley. But now that I'm actually even saying it, I'm like, that second leg was so dull. It was so bad. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not one who likes to watch the same game twice. I'm a massive UFC fan. I don't like watching rematches straight away. Like Adesanya Strickland, for example. I just watched Strickland kick his ass for 5 rounds. I do not want to watch that again. Not yet. Anyway, maybe in a few years, fine. But I don't need to watch that back to back. Let me think of another fight. So Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. That was fine for me because that was a trilogy. Usman was kicking his ass, but Edwards knocked him out. So there was kind of still a little bit of a question about who's better, really. And the third fight happened. I was fine with that. But then you have ones where So, for example, if Holloway now rematched Gaethje, right? I don't need to see that again. I wouldn't want to see it because I just watched Holloway destroy him, right? And when I just think, get the game done. I know they lose money, and to be honest, if replays were still a thing, I wouldn't really care. I don't complain about them. They're not really something I think about. But I would probably not have them. Personally, I just don't like them. I don't like watching the same game twice. When Newport came back to Spurs, the game was so dull. And yeah, I just think help the other teams by giving them more money, right? We don't need replays to give them money. Just give them... I don't know. I think it's quite irreversible how dominant the Premier League is. But if there was a way, I think the money just needs to filter through. And I think there's better ways to do that than replays. And what replays are they even helping that much? I don't know. Maybe I'm being ignorant. Comment if they are. If you know anything specifically about how impactful replays are. But for me, I just don't... I do find them boring. I will not watch... Even if Man City are playing... I don't know. Wrexham, right? I have quite a fascination now with Wrexham. Obviously being from Wales. I like the story. It's fantastic. I wouldn't watch probably a return fixture. I'd just watch the first one. And if you're not good enough to beat them on the first game, then don't have a second game. That's just my opinion of it. I know it's very top 6 minded, but I'm not thinking about it through a top 6 lens. I'm thinking about it just from my own entertainment, really. And I know it's probably wrong, but I don't care. That's just my opinion on it. For me, the worst thing, though, is the fact that the FA Cup is on BT next year. That is shocking, because the FA Cup should be on BBC. You shouldn't have to pay extra money for the FA Cup. Like, no way should you have to do that. That to me is a bigger crime than replays being scrapped. You know, FA Cup on BT is, oh my god, oh, that is such a bad move. Such a bad move. And how many people really have BT Sports? I don't think it's that many. So I think that's worse, 10 times worse than the FA Cup replays being scrapped, in my opinion. The last thing, let's talk a bit more of a positive thing. Cole Palmer. I can't not speak about him because he's so good. He is so good at football. I can't not talk about him. Did you like my super Welsh accent there? The guy, for me, alongside Rodri, is the front runner for player of the season at the moment. The guy is on 20 goals. Cole Palmer will currently have, if the season stopped right now, a golden boot. In the same league as Erling Haaland. Do you know how insane that is? Right? Accompany that with the fact he has 9 assists, which is only 3 off of the top, who is someone else. I can't think of who. It might be Trippier. I'm not sure. 20 goals, 9 assists, every single game. He's carrying Chelsea. I mean, he gets the ball. He's so good. He is so good at football. It blows my mind. He's so composed. Even his finishes the other day, right? The first goal is outrageous. Is out of this world. The skill before he gets the ball back, where he passes it to Jackson, is amazing. He then gets it back, and the finish, he shoots before Pickford is expecting it. It was actually very Harry Kane-like, where he shoots before the keeper expects it. The chip with his weak foot was a difficult one. He made it look easy. And he's doing this every single game. He scored a hat-trick versus Man United. About 2 weeks later, he scores 4 goals versus Everton. There's no one really in the league doing that kind of shit right now. I think really impressive. I think he would be my player of the season. There's not been a player I've thought has been better than Cole Palmer this year. I think the only other two I can think of are Rodri and Van Dijk that come close. But yeah, insane season for Cole Palmer. And I said this on my TikTok the other day, is if he now turns really shit next year, this will be the greatest streets won't forget season of all time. Do you think Cole Palmer should win team of the season? Do you think someone else? I'm not sure. I am sure. I think Cole Palmer, as it stands right now, should win it. If he doesn't score for another 5 games, and Rodri is world class for another 5 games, then I'll give it to Rodri. But what he's doing at the moment, such an intelligent player. Yeah, he's everything to Chelsea. He's doing it from mid-table Chelsea side as well. It's just, in a team surrounded by £100 million signings, it's Cole Palmer that's not just standing out. Like, he is a stratosphere away from anyone in that Chelsea side. Raheem Sterling, maybe Premier League legend. Who I probably wouldn't say that, but he's close. Cole Palmer is making him look shit, like very shit. And he's about, 20 years old, 21 years old. So, really impressive stuff. Cole Palmer, my favourite player outside of Spurs. I know he's a Chelsea player. He's that good, I don't care that he plays for Chelsea. That's how good he is. So yeah, I'm amazed by Cole Palmer. I think this season is just, he's blown my mind. That's all I really have to talk about today. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, subscribe if you are new as well. And if you have anything about the replays, Cole Palmer being player of the season, anything on Bayer Leverkusen you want to talk about in the comments, comment it down below. And thank you for for watching.